language. No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
You write your first draft with your heart. And you rewrite with your head.
Seize the day.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Writer Showcase Showdown. And this is the show where we have a roundtable group of writers of different genres, and we ask them a series of questions about the writing process, the highs, the lows, the advice that we give to writers out there, etc. But we also love to hear from you. So if you're watching us live, don't forget to like and share this with your friends. If you're watching us live or on the replay, thank you so much for being here. Hello there. And if you have any questions for our esteemed panel of guests, I'm going to introduce to you here in just a moment. Please let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to hear from you respectively. With that being said, please welcome a young man who's written, a couple of books. He's a New York Times bestselling author, and he just happens to be a Marvelite, aka a Marvel fan. Excelsior! Paul Landry's here. What's up, Paul? How you doing, man?
Hey, guys. How's everybody?
Doing well, man. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate you being a part of this show. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this, don't you think?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, I think we can make it. We could make it work, people. We can make it work. Also joining us on this panel is someone who has studied the arts of Jediism for many, many years. She was a master Jedi for so many years. She still is. She's one of the best Jedi masters around. I consider her one of the best in the Jedi Academy. Please welcome Master Jedi Cindy Kep is in the building. Hello, Cindy. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
We're fine. We're all fine here. No, thank you. But thank you for being with us. And also joining us on this panel is someone who is a wonderful person inside and out. She's got great things going on, whether it's her books, whether it's the Munchkins roaming around, whether it's the 30 cats roaming around, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. Please welcome Ellie Rain is in the building.
Hello.
Ellie, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. This is Cypher.
Oh, Cypher. Let's say hello to Cypher. Hello, Cypher. Where are you? There's your beautiful face. Look at that. Aww.
He decided to join me right now. At least for now.
Meow.
Don't know. We'll stay. We'll see.
That is such a good-looking cat.
Yeah, he knows it.
Cats are cool. They really are. I like cats. I don't mind cats. I really don't. It's the dogs and cats when they live together with mass hysteria that I have a problem with. But cats are fine.
Crazy. Yes.
What are your opinions on 600-pound Twinkies?
He's got him.
My opinion is that's a big Twinkie. It's a big Twinkie, but fun fact, I used to eat a lot of Twinkies when I was a kid, so I got no problem with it. I got no problem with Twinkies, no problem at all, except when it grows to be 35 feet long, weigh approximately 600 pounds. It's too much for me. Too much. That is bigger than the cookie that the kids had to try to eat through when they were trapped in the backyard in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It is. I'm dead serious. It's a lot of cream, a lot of flour, sugar, whatever you want to call it. It's a plethora, Jefe. All right? It's a plethora. But with that being said, we're going to make pop culture references all night, which you probably will. But outside of that, I'm going to talk a little something about writing, because I think writing should be a lot of fun, and there's a lot of questions that should be asked of writers, because I think we can get a lot out of it. We can learn from each other, which is one of the best things about being on the show. So question number one goes to the field, and it goes a little something like this, and I'll go over to Paul for his thoughts on this one. Mm-hmm. Paul, what in your mind makes a great book?
Well, what makes a great book? Well, I would say for me, the characters have to be interesting. They have to be compelling. We have to have a good plot as well, because the characters need something to do. And not to beat a dead horse or dump on things, but anybody that's on my Facebook knows that I've been reading Jaws. And I just finished it today, and it was awful. And one of the reasons, because the characters weren't likable. They weren't anything that I was interested in. They were doing interesting things, but they just weren't interesting people, and then the plots kind of went nowhere and things like that. So I think what makes a really good and compelling story is when you have characters that you can relate to, when you have characters that you enjoy reading about, and they're put in situations that you really feel for them. You really want them to pull through.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So in other words, instead of reading the book, we rather just not read something, but rather watch this.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Not to be outdone, but I got a dog on me now.
Hey, we got to look at this. We got the fur babies are coming out to
It's
play.
the
Who is this?
Twinkie. That's
Who
the
is-
Twinkie.
Is that Twinkie really?
This is Magnolia.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
That's
gonna
the
try and lick my
Twinkie.
nose because that's what she does. She loves
Yeah.
look at that. That oh my goodness.
the Chihuahua.
Yes.
Look, come on, say hello to everybody.
Yeah, say hello. Say hello to the audience. You want to say hello, Magnolia? Say hello. There it is.
Hi, Maggie.
You got a moment to spare?
Maggie.
Like hello out there in YouTube land.
Oh,
All
look-
I'm like, all right, that's me.
oh
I miss
boy.
you, Maggie.
The cuteness factor on this telecast just went up by 9,000. I have to say, I'm so sorry.
You should see the other one. The other one is Chico, and he's a Chiweenie, and he's got.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I'm serious.
he is.
He's
He is. I can vouch.
I was going to say that may be another story for another time entirely. But outside of the fact that the Jaws book is a piece of hot garbage and the movie is a masterpiece that just turned 50 this week, which is insane. It did. And here's another fun fact for you, fine folks. In case anyone's wondering, we do this thing called movie watch-alongs on the Anti-Quote channel right here in this studio. We're going to be doing a 50th anniversary watch-along next week on Friday the 27th of June for Jaws. And best-selling writer Bobby Nash is going to be on with us. We're also going to have my good friend Austin. Yeah, Bobby Boy is going to be, because, and I said this to Bobby not too long ago. I said, Bobby, without a shadow of a doubt, you are the president and CEO of the Jaws fan club. I mean, honest to God, this guy loves Jaws so much that he's got more Jaws merch than you can shake a stick at when the dog goes out in the water and says, Pippin, Pippin, and then Pippin gets eaten by the shark. So it happens. You know, and apparently Ellie likes to fix her camera while I'm speaking, which is fine too. It happens to the best of us. Because
sorry, Cypher knocked over the computer stand, so it like wiggled, and now I'm like, crap.
Dog's gone at Cypher. Damn! In the words of the Matrix, damn you, Cypher.
No, Cypher, no siphoning.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I like Cypher the cat. Maybe not so much the character in the Matrix movie that betrayed the crew in the middle of the movie. Sorry, yeah. Spoiler alert for a 26-year-old movie, but still,
this is where I say Cypher, no siphoning.
That's a fair point. Can we add that on a T-shirt, Ellie? Can we make that happen?
We can.
No siphoning, Cypher, whatever it's called. Let's add that as a catchphrase. I'm sorry. But aside from Cypher messing up one of our computer systems here on deck, Cindy, I'm just curious, what in your mind makes a great book?
Interesting characters dealing with the situation when it all goes nuts.
Oh, okay. Short, sweet, and to the point. Great. I thought you were going to elaborate a few more sentences on my watch so I can keep track of the time. But no, that's fine. You're simple and to the point. I admire that. Aside from Cypher messing up her camera, Ellie, what in your mind makes a great book that doesn't count with the cat interrupting us?
I would say something that inspires the audience, something that makes you feel something other than pure annoyance and boredom. If you're annoyed or bored to the point where you don't want to watch anymore, I think that's where any type of entertainment, not just books, fails. So if you feel something, I think that's where it succeeds. And that's it seems simple, but it's honestly, simplicity can be the best success in creativity sometimes.
That's good stuff. I think Lucius Fox would say she's right, you know. I'm sorry, Morgan. That's a Morgan Freeman meme that I can toss out to anybody. But good points, really good points. And once again, good to see the fur babies making cameos on my shows, because I hardly ever see fur babies on my show. So this is an honor and a pleasure. But outside of that, Cindy, where's your favorite spot to write when you're writing?
Anywhere that's quiet. Usually that's upstairs in my office with a notebook and a pen. Yes, I still do most of my drafts by hand without distractions, because if there's anything to be distracting, that's where my brain goes, and then I can't get any writing done.
Wow, kicking it old school. So in the words of Marcus Brody, the pen is mightier than the sword. See what I did there? He
got lost in his own museum.
I know, seriously. How can you be friends with a dude who got lost once in his own museum, huh?
Apparently, that's
twice.
A thing that
twice
people can do that. That museum there in London, but it's huge apparently.
Is it?
my wife was in school with somebody who worked there,
No kidding.
then got a job over at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and was saying, so yeah, you can get lost in a museum. It's cavernous.
Huh.
Hmm.
I was not aware of that. Just make sure you look for the 10. Where's the 10? Anyway, listen, full disclosure, that was the first indie movie I ever saw. I saw everything in reverse order. I saw Last Crusade long before I ever saw Raiders, and that's why Last Crusade is my favorite one of the bunch.
I agree.
It's my favorite one of the bunch. It's so good. It's so entertaining, and it's a perfect Father's Day movie. It's a perfect summer movie because it came out in the summer of '89. I was only 2 at the time. I'm sorry, I'm dating myself. I'm very old, but still, it's magic, dude. It's magic. You want half the armies on our tail. You want me to go to Berlin, to the Lion's Den? Yes. The only thing that matters is the Grail. Anyway, forget about Marcus. Marcus would agree with me. But Ellie, I'm so sorry. Where's your favorite spot to write that's not in a museum?
I don't really have a single favorite spot. It keeps changing. It really just depends on my mentality at the time. If I don't have any responsibilities that keep distracting me, then it's a lot easier. Having headphones in with music typically is the best place for me. So I guess mind palaces are my favorite place, you know? So not really a physical place, it's really a mental place. So mind palaces.
And I thought Jabba's palace was an interesting place to visit. Not so much in Return of the Jedi, but because otherwise you're going to end up as a decoration of carbonite, you know?
We can say fourth dimensional space. I am in all time dimensions at every space and time. So
that's fair. Yeah, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can take any more of this wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. Anyway, but I get it. I get it. You're listening to music. You're in the zone. You're writing.
Yeah.
I get it. I've done that before. When I'm listening to certain music, when I'm trying to write a certain story that's in a particular genre, I try to find music that's related to that genre, so it makes sense. Paul, what about you? What's your favorite spot to write when it's not 150 degrees in Hotlanta?
Right here, right in my office. This is what I call the office of imagination, because the house of ideas was taken. And yeah, that's what I do. I just come in here and I sit down at the old laptop and just start going. For me, it's usually in the morning. I like to write like while I'm drinking coffee. I feel like I do better under the influence of caffeine, like right away, when my mind is nice and sharp and I could really get the words flowing. I'm just gonna, full disclosure, I'm a very lazy writer. I write when I feel like, that I will go long stretches without doing anything because I'm like formulating what's gonna in this gigantic dome of mine. So, but yeah, I'll just come in here and it should be quiet, but I can't always guarantee that, what with two chihuahuas yelling and howling all the time. But yeah, it's always in here in this in my office. And what's cool now, I can look at Joe Simon and Jack Kirby every day and they're going to be like, why aren't you doing anything? Come on. It's
good inspiration too. Two of the biggest names in history staring right at you being like, why aren't you writing, you bum? Come on. It's understandable. I to a certain extent, I get where you're coming from. Good answers. Once again, for those of you tuning in, wondering what the bantha fodder is going on, other than the fact that Ryan seems to be quoting every other movie known to man, this is the Writer's Showcase. Don't forget to like and share this with your friends. If you have any questions for our esteemed panel of great writers, way better than I could ever be, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. If you're watching us live or on Memorex, hello there. I'll just leave it at that. Let's see here. Ellie, what do you like to read? What kind of stories? What kind of genres?
High fantasy. Like Discworld mostly. Brandon Sanderson type of stuff. If you ever read The Legend of Eli Montpress, high fantasy, magic, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, that type of stuff. So things with magic, armor, weapons, not this world, some completely other world. That's what I like.
Fair enough. Fair to say you have my sword. And you have my bow. And my axe. Anyway, sorry, that's one of my favorite quotes of the whole gosh darn franchise. Because that whole council scene is just so boss. It is. And the fact that Sean Bean kept looking down to look at the script while they were shooting it.
I
While they were
can't
shooting
believe.
it,
I know. When I found out that's what he was doing, I was like,
Yep.
"You've got to be kidding
the whole
me!"
time.
Like, it was such a poignant move. I thought he was just like being, like, I thought he was just
Great.
acting
Yeah.
so soulful, and like, no, he was just reading his lines.
He couldn't get the scene. He had to keep looking down every single time they focused the camera on another
Ooh,
character, or before they cut right to him, because
man, that
otherwise
makes
he
me
wouldn't know
feel
the line.
better.
I know, right? Wonderful, simply walk into Mordor. I mean, honestly, it's so good. And Sean Bean is just a great character actor. That guy knows how to act. That guy's had
Yes,
range for
yeah.
30 years. Because the first time I ever met him professionally was Goldeneye, my favorite
He
Bond
also
movie of
knows
all
how to
time.
die.
Oh, really?
Most of
Wow.
his characters die a lot.
They do. The only time I've never seen his character die is when he gets arrested at the end of National Treasure with Nick Cage.
Right?
That's the only time he doesn't
Yeah.
die.
He's really good at, his characters are really good at dying. So he knows what he's doing.
Game of Thrones. Yeah, it doesn't end well for. Sorry, Sean. I love you, man, but you end up dead in a lot of your stuff, man. I don't know what it is. Do you have
He
it
knows.
like do you have it like written in your contract that my character shall die at the end of every single movie or show that I'm a part of? Because that's just a weird clause to have in one's contract. But hey, this is Hollywood. Crazier things have happened in Hollywood, fellas. Believe me, we've heard stories. There have been memoirs that have been published too, not by Sean Bean particularly, but you see what I'm getting at. Geez, I'm losing my mind. Paul, what do you like to read?
I read a lot of Stephen King. I read a ton of his stuff, and I have for years. Got my Stephen King Dark Tower tattoo there.
Oh my gosh,
huge fan. I read a lot of his stuff, short stories, because we talked about characterization earlier. I don't think that there's any other writer that can write characters as well as he can. And what I love about it is, he can write these horrible, awful things in one chapter, and then write something that completely breaks your heart in the next 2 or 3 chapters. So I read a lot of his stuff. I read Tolkien every year. When I'm not reading fiction, I'm reading Carl Sagan a lot, because I feel like, we're kind of, these days we need as much skepticism as possible, and we need to kind of have that, what did he call it, a baloney detection kit, and we kind of need that, especially with social media and things like that. But yeah, and of course, comic books and things like that, especially those old golden age things, for obvious reasons. My Crimson Howl has a lot of those throwbacks to the golden age of comic books, so I want to kind of keep sharp with that. And there's like little things here and there, like I'll read The Exorcist every so often. I'll go and I'll slog through Jaws, and I'm really sorry, Peter Benchley, for dumping on your book so much, but it's just really not good.
You're the first person to say that on national television or any other form of media for that matter. A lot of people have said over the years, the book's not great, but the film is an utter classic. So talk about night and day, right? The book's one thing, the movie's another, and Spielberg made it work, despite the fact that 99% of the time, the mechanical shark that they used wasn't even working.
No, it kept falling
apart.
Sinking.
Yeah, and plus it was in salt water rather than being used in fresh water, so that's another reason it kept breaking down, because it was in salt water at the time when they were shooting it in Martha's Vineyard, if I'm not mistaken. So, man, but he made it work. When you don't see the shark, it's what you don't see that's terrifying.
Yeah, and I also remember I also read Mario Puzo, because I'm considered a pulp novelist now, and so was he. So I read The Godfather every November.
Every November.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that, because back when I was living in New Jersey on AMC, they used to play on Thanksgiving.
No kidding.
They would play The Godfather Saga, which was the re-edited version, where it starts with young Vito Corleone to, and it goes through Godfather 2, and it's the director's cut. So there's a lot of scenes that were in the book that were not in the movie, and just keep and you can't find it anywhere. They only did it on AMC, and then they stopped doing it. And
now, sorry, I'll let you finish.
No. I'm basically done. I mean, I just read it every November, because then I watch it on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Okay, because I'm currently in the middle of reading
Oh, are you?
Godfather for the first time.
No
'Cause
kidding.
I've only ever watched it.
Same
So
here.
now
Yeah.
I'm currently reading it. So now I'm curious, like I'm gonna go back and watch it. So now I'm thinking maybe I should like watch it with Paul now.
You
when I'm
should.
reading
Everyone
it.
should. I love it. You come over. I'll
Oh,
cook.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll
No.
fly down to
Heck yeah.
Hotlanta. I'll fly down to Hotlanta. We'll all have a big
Ryan,
party together.
anytime you come in, I got a
Yeah.
tiki
'Cause
bar in
I'm
town.
like
Yeah.
800 miles away from you guys. I'm
Cindy,
in
come on
Maryland.
down.
I'm
It
in
would be
Maryland,
great.
so I'd have to
Please.
drive
Yeah.
like deep south to get down to Atlanta because I'm in Maryland in the northeastern United States. So I
Elliot
got
will
a
tell you,
drive
I mean,
ahead of me.
Paul makes the best food. Like
Does
he
he?
really does. I hate salmon with a passion. Cooked
Really?
salmon. I love raw salmon because I love sushi. But everyone's salmon that they always cook, they're like, oh, it's because you haven't tried my salmon. Like I hate it. No matter what, I hate cooked salmon. But like Paul's salmon, I freaking loved it. I couldn't
Is it
get
Paul
enough of
Salmon or Paul Simon?
it. Salmon.
Oh, sorry. Salmon.
It-
Earth is
yeah.
Earth is close
The
to
salmon,
Squidward.
the salmon that he made, the cooked
Yeah.
salmon that he made, I actually could not get enough of it. Like I
Really?
actually liked it. So like yeah, when I say that Paul is amazing of a chef, like I'm not kidding.
All right. So
Also,
I guess
an okay writer too. So.
yeah. So I guess the first thing I should do is we should go down to the in the south to Hotlanta. Go to Dragon Con at one point together as a family, and then I'm going to visit
yeah.
Cindy and her crew over there in the great state of Iowa to see the Field of Dreams, so I can see all these ball players coming out of the cornfields, including Terrence Mann, who's now become one with the cornfields. If anyone's know what I'm talking about with Everett. Why am I James Earl Jones being no longer with us? He can walk out of the cornfield now and be like, so you wrote about it, right? Well, tell us what's in there, what's in the field, because you've been writing about it for 36 years. Let's go, son. Let's go. So, that's cool. So now I got to go to Hotlanta. I got to visit the Field of Dreams. And is this heaven? No, it's Iowa. It's right. Isn't that right, Cindy?
Absolutely.
That's a great saying. That's a great way to advertise your state. Speaking of which, Cindy, what do you like to read? What do you like to read?
I most enjoy reading science fiction and gamelit. I got into gamelit a few years ago after discovering that one of the short stories that I wrote was actually in that genre. Didn't know it existed before that.
Oh wow,
Cindy, I don't know what that is. What is that?
Gamelit stories take place within a game world. So, for example, the more recent Jumanji movies are very much gamelit.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I just learned about that term like a week ago, so I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, Jumanji fits that.
Yeah. The more recent ones do. You might even be able to argue that the original one also would qualify.
Can't forget about Robin Williams now.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Interesting.
Don't forget about Alan now.
Wait, we weren't talking about that one?
No,
That's what we were
no.
talking
She was talking about the more recent ones with Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart and who was the other one? Karen Gillan from Doctor Who.
I forgot they made a new one.
They made two of them. There's two sequels to the original Jumanji. One's called Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay.
And then
I saw the second one.
Welcome to the Jungle.
I saw the first new one.
Okay.
I forgot they made a second new one.
They did.
I was thinking of the Robin Williams one because that's the only Jumanji.
Well, I mean, we grew up on it. We grew up on that. That's Robert freaking Williams. That's one of the
What
ghosts
year
of acting.
is it?
Well, that was correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that movie came out in our year, the year of our Lord, 1995 AD. So that movie turned 30 this year, believe it or not.
God,
I know.
good. It still holds up.
To a certain extent, it does, but it's not like it used to be in my top 5 favorite Williams movies. But now that I've seen more of his filmography, it's not as high as it used to be anymore because I've seen other stuff like Awakenings with him and Bobby De Niro, which is incredibly good. I saw not too long ago, Dead Poet Society, which we use at the top of the show. That is a great performance by him. So it's like, there's so many Robin Williams performances that I just can't put Jumanji in the top 5 anymore because there are other ones that are just better than that.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against Robin, of course. It's just that there are movies that are just more elevated in that regard,
I think it's the writing, not so much
the
performance.
It does come down to the writing. Your story is only as good as the writing. # those are the facts of this case, and they are undisputed. Just saying. By the way, people are chiming in here. Someone named Kat says, "Ha! I figured out the chat, Paul Landry. Paul, sequel news by any chance on your book?
Yes, it's coming. We are in the process of editing. We're editing both. We've got the next book is going to be Reign of the Crimson Howl, and then Ruin of the Crimson Howl.
Gee whiz.
And then after that, we're donezo with that for a while. Yeah, they're coming. They're going to be really fun. I actually think the book 2 is better than anything I've ever written.
That's awesome.
It has, and I can't really talk about it because it's
spoilers.
It's still in the works.
Right. And to quote our good friends at Doctor Who, spoilers. Hello, sweetie. Anyway, Freddie's here. He says Sean Bean has a reputation for dying on screen, but only has 25 to his record. Mark Hamill has died a record-breaking 30 times in his career on screen. The most I could find was Christopher Lee. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, Christopher Lee, hello, Chris, and Star Wars, Cindy. Christopher Lee has died a record of 70 times on screen.
Dang!
Well, he was Dracula, so I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I have never seen that iteration of Dracula.
You've never seen the Hammer horror?
No.
Oh boy,
No.
I mean, he gives Lugosi a run for his money.
Run for his money.
Yeah, and you've got Peter Cushing. He's usually the
what was his name?
the Van Helsing.
Yeah, what was his name? Governor. He was Tarkin in Star Wars. That's
yeah.
right. Yeah. Grand Moff Tarkin. That's it, Cindy. I was trying to think of the character. That's what it was.
And they were best friends, the two of them. And they got kicked out of a movie theater once.
What?
For laughing too loud at a Looney Tunes cartoon short before the movie started.
What?
Oh my god!
They got kicked out of a theater just for that? Get the frack out of here, man!
Well, I've been so close to that same problem.
Are you serious? You've been nearly kicked out of public movie theaters just because you're laughing so much?
I have been shushed and angrily, I wouldn't say yelled at, but yelled at by audience members before for that same problem.
What? Okay, what was the last movie you got caught in for this?
How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action movie.
Oh, the one that just came out 2 minutes ago?
Yes.
Jeez.
That was you?
That was me.
That was her.
That was me. Okay.
She was in the back of the theater.
Look, How to Train Your Dragon is my favorite movie series. What do you want from me?
Oh, it is?
Of course, I'm going to be reactive.
That's the cream of the crop for you. Is How to Train Your Dragon?
The series, yes. Well,
okay,
I mean, the second movie.
Oh, the second.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I respect that. Okay.
I guess I should clarify my favorite 3D animated movie series.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, it's not.
Did you enjoy the new one? Did they do it justice, or they kind of mess it up like they do every reboot?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting a lot worse. They actually didn't do as bad as I was expecting.
Really?
I would put it if I were to range it between Disney live actions. On a scale from let's see, okay, what is the worst live action?
Oh boy. This is the great derailed part of the show. This is great. I'm loving this.
I can't think the worst live action for Disney, but my favorite live action of Disney is Cinderella. So I would range it at about from like a Beauty and the Beast, which is like a little bit more in the middle.
Oh, so it's right here. All right.
Yeah, so it's like between Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid, which is like closer towards Cinderella, which is like not too bad, but not the best.
Yeah.
Not too bad, not the best, not the worst, but not
somewhere
the best.
in the middle.
Yeah, so like they didn't do a complete copy paste for everything.
Okay.
But they did copy paste a lot.
Really?
But the stuff that they added, I thought was actually better than the animated stuff. So I'm conflicted.
That's a hot take if I ever heard one. Because thou shalt not touch the originals, because the originals are.
The
originals are always going to be the cream of the crop. Because honestly, where can you go and see a movie where one of the what do they call it, supporting characters, right? Where he says, Ariel, jumping jellyfish. I mean, come on.
That's where I was coming from too, and that's where I started when I watched this movie. I came in completely biased because I was like, this is not going to be good.
Nothing can top the OGs.
Yeah, and I came out being like, wow, I'm really conflicted about this. But yeah, so that's my take on it. So there are things I liked about it, things I hated about it, and things I was like, about. So yeah.
Fair enough. Wow. This show's gone really well off the rails, but I love it.
Yeah.
Because you never know what we're going to get. Life is like a box of chocolates, Ellie. You never know what you're going to get. So, By the way, Kat goes on to say, thank you. In exchange, a fun fact. Hooper dies in the book known as Jaws, but lives on in the movie because the mechanical shark kept breaking down so much for Spielberg. Well, I'm glad you kept him alive because it's Richard freaking Dreyfuss. So, well done, Spielberg. Well done. And then Kat goes on to say,
wow.
Worst live action for them is Lion King because it was still animated. It's a hill to die on. Yeah,
there we go. Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, anybody with 2 cents can tell you that is one of the worst, most terrible decisions a studio has ever made in their career. And listen, I've been a fan of Disney since I was 3 or 4 because when I was watching stuff like Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, The Rescuers Down Under counts. The Rescuers Down Under counts. People don't think it counts as part of the Renaissance, but it is literally part of the Renaissance because it comes out right after Little Mermaid, which started the Renaissance. So don't tell me that you can't enjoy Rescuers Down Under when Joanna is eating all those eggs in the kitchen.
Dude,
I'm like laughing hysterically.
I've never heard anyone say they don't enjoy Rescuers Down Under. So that was my childhood. I would watch that over and over again.
Who does? I mean, it's so good. By the way, fun fact. Once again, I'm dating myself. It turns 35 this year.
What? No, I'm 34.
It did. Okay. It did because it came out in the year 1990 AD. Let's not forget about the actual years here.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
I know. It's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Did you take one of my eggs? No, I'm just McLeach as a villain. Oh my God. Listen, man, you dug a trap here. That makes you a poacher. Joanna, get him. And then Wilbur was voiced by the late great John Candy. The flying bird, the eagle, the one who flies Bianca and Bernard out to Australia. That was John Candy. We miss you, man. We miss you. Wilbur. Just 5 more minutes, Mom. So good. We miss you, John Candy. But with that being said, where was I? Oh, yeah. Questions. So once again, what the Bantha Fodder is this? This is the Writer's Showcase, the greatest show you've never heard of until today. Don't forget to like share this. Oh, my God. I'm so bad at plugs. Don't forget to like and share this. If you got any questions regarding books, writing, or maybe even a Disney movie that some people may or may not like, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. #The Rescuers Down Under is a masterpiece, and I will die on that hill. Yes. What else am I trying to say here? But yes, don't forget to, if you're watching us live on the replay, hello there. In the words of our friend Obi-Wan Kenobi. Or as Cindy likes to say, General Kenobi. You know, I actually met the voice actor of Grievous, Matthew Wood. He's a nice guy. With that being said, Paul, how do you interact with your millions of fans when you see them at conventions or book signings?
Cordially. I think, it's funny because I don't really have a lot of social media. I'm on Facebook and I do it all that way. I do posts and things like that. And for a short time, I was doing some promos where I was, being, on reels and things like that. And I interact with them just like I would like us. Like right now, we're just talking, nice to meet you. Thanks for the money. That's usually how that goes. And then I get punched in the face. No, not really. But yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of new to this. I'm still building an audience. And I think the best way to do that is just to be friendly, be cordial, be kind. And, just try and be memorable, so that they'll say, hey, I want we were cutting a promo at a comic book shop once for a book signing that we were doing on Free Comic Book Day on May the 4th, by the way. And I was doing it with the owner. His name is Chris. And it was funny because there was a guy who was watching us very intently. He was a customer. A week later, I'm sitting there. I've got a little bit of a line of people. And the guy said, I was waiting for you because I saw you cut that promo. And it was hilarious because we did it like a wrestling promo. And he said, I have to buy your book. Here is money. And I said, I have to take your money. Thank you. Because I need it. Not really. And, that was a really cool thing because I was like, wow, this guy was interested in meeting me and wanted to know what all the fuss was about with what I was promoting. And I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I mean, if the next time, I don't know when I'm going to be doing another signing, but when I do one, it's just going to be like this. Just meet. Hi, how you doing? Be real folksy and as charming as ever.
Makes a lot of sense. So you're kind of pulling just a little bit. You're pulling from the advice we got many years ago from our good friend Dalton, who said, "Be nice. I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice." And that's the words of Patrick Swayze from Roadhouse, in case anyone's wondering. So, just be nice until it's time to not be nice. It's just a fair rule of thumb. Good rule of thumb, as one might say. But no, that's cool, man. I dig it. And we wish you all the best with your next signings or whatever they may be. And by the way, being at a local comic shop on May the 4th, be with you. Heck yeah. I will take that any day of the week, twice on Sunday. As Austin 316 might. Well, not 360, but Stone Cold has said that in the past. Sorry, I grew up watching wrestling when I was a youngin'. But outside of that, what has your interaction been like with your fans, Cindy? What has it been like for you?
I have fans?
Yes, you do. You have, and not the website that we're not going to talk about, but you do have fans out there who love to read your books, purchase copies of your books at conventions. What is your interaction? What has your interaction been like with your millions of fans out there?
I crack weird jokes and listen a lot. Usually when I'm at a convention trying to hawk people over to my table is, hey, do you want to adopt a dragon? Or can I interest you in some sci-fi fantasy game lit dragon hat? I throw something really weird at the end. One of these things is not like the others. And that at least gets people to stop and go, wait, what? But I listen a lot. I listen to their stories. 'Cause people often will tell me strange things that have happened to them or about weird adventures that they've had.
So in other words, it's kind of like watching a rerun episode of Ripley's Believe It or Not. So anybody remember that show with Dean Cain, aka Superman from the 90s? He hosted that show for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember Jack Palance.
Didn't realize that was him.
Well, yeah. Well, Jack Palance did the original, and then when they rebooted it in the late 90s, early 2000s, Dean Cain pitched it to TBS and said, look, I really am a fan of this stuff, and I want to reboot this, and I want to host and executive produce and and meet all these different people with all these different kinds of skills. Can we make this happen? So he made the pitch to TBS. They looked it over. They agreed. They signed, and he started filming it, and they ran with it.
Cool.
Yeah, Dean Cain is a fan of the believe it or not, Mysterioso kind of stuff, and he's not just Superman. He's a fan of the Twilight Zone, outside of this world stuff. So it works. And if I ever meet him at a convention, I'll be like, yo, dude, I caught some of your reruns on TBS Superstation back in the day when I was watching, pro wrestling back in the day, brother. Yeah. And also I was watching the Mike Rowe hosted reality show called Worst Case Scenario, based off the Worst Case Scenario Survival Handbook of the same name. So they had it on. It was a lineup called Unbelievable Wednesdays. It was on from Wednesdays at 9 o'clock at night to 11 o'clock at night. I kid you not.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable? Believe it. There's your catchphrase, folks. But Ellie, what is it like for you interacting with millions of your adoring fans?
Weird.
Really? Is it weird and mysterious?
Yeah.
Is it like an episode of The Twilight Zone for you, or what is it like?
It's weird. Mostly because I don't ever think I have fans. I don't think people read my stuff and then they tell me that they've read everything and they love it. And it's just weird. And it's like, it's a bunch of different feelings. It's like, oh my God, people have read my stuff. People say that they love my stuff. Oh my God, they're talking about my story with me. And, I'm doing my best to like listen and not freak out. And I'm trying not to like, show my hand in front of them too much, but it's really hard because like internally I'm just like, oh my God, because it's really hard not to freak out in front of people that you're supposed to look cool to. You're supposed to be cool, you're supposed to be chill. I am not that person. I am not the person who is like the cool, like quiet, silent type. That is not who I am. But like I think that's what people expect you to be. I think as an author, like you're an author. You're supposed to be reserved. You're supposed to be like calm.
Stoic.
Yeah, you're supposed to be stoic. And if people tell you they like your stuff, you're supposed to be like, yeah, thanks. I really appreciate that. That's really cool.
So
That
we're
is not
supposed
who
to be
I am.
Crispin Glover all of a sudden?
I know.
I
Seriously.
guess. I think
Yeah.
that's what people expect you to be, and like that is not who I am at all. So
I'm
like,
a
carnival barker.
I'm just
when it comes
like,
to my
I'm
stuff.
like,
I don't know.
it's really hard for me not to tear up, and I'm like, oh my god, somebody loves my
Yeah.
stuff. Holy crap! I was just like,
Somebody
don't
bought all
cry,
5 of
don't
my books
cry.
today. This is insane.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, don't cry. People love your stuff. Oh my god.
Yeah. So you kind of remember what the coach says. There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball. Why don't you leave her alone, Jimmy? Oh, you zip it, Doris. Yeah, it's just one of those things. But by the way, I grew up watching that movie religiously as a kid, and I have no shame in that. Tom Hanks, we love you, Jimmy Dugan. So on the outside, they tell you to be stoic, professional, all this kind of jazz. Well, rather so on the inside, it's more or less, it's sort of kind of like this.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah! Yes! Yes!
That's me. Yep, that's me. I think it doesn't help that like I'm a romantic goth, like aesthetically and everything, and like
Mhm.
the way that I write is very gothic.
Yeah.
I am a goth, but I'm like a bubbly goth.
Is there such a thing as that? I don't know.
Yes, there is. Like you can be two or a million things at once. You can be peppy and you can be gothic at the same time. Like you can have more than one side to yourself. But like if you dress gothic, people I guess don't expect you to be bubbly and like really like ecstatic and excited and stuff. So I think that's what really like confuses people a lot. I think that's what's confusing for people.
Why I
Well,
always wear
Yeah.
Hawaiian shirts to my
do you?
events. Always.
You wear Hawaiian shirts, so you're
Hawaiian
pulling off a
shirts,
Magnum
always,
PI
yeah.
look with Tom
Well, it's
Selleck.
people in, it's just
All right.
so.
Do you have the theme song playing in the background? Dun, 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 dun. Do you have the Magnum PI playing?
No, because I don't have a mustache.
Darn it, man! You should have the theme. You should at least have the
Stick
theme
it
song.
on.
moving at your booth
No,
with the
it's-
Bluetooth.
because then
Stick
people are
around.
like, okay, this guy, he's ready to party, so let's talk to him about,
Well,
his
Magnum PI
nonsense.
knew when to take things seriously, right? Tom Selleck knew when to take things seriously. He was a police commissioner for like 15 seasons on Blue Bloods. So,
No, I
like,
don't
you
know.
know,
I don't watch that. I don't know.
he could be serious, right? I mean,
Well,
like,
here's the thing: you can have the glue on,
yes,
stick on mustache, and then when you
True.
want to take things seriously, you rip it off.
But that,
Serious like. That's what you can do.
or you can just have the coffee mug at your table that says, "I must ask you a question." See what I did there? See what I did there? There's
Yeah.
marketing, ladies and gentlemen. That is marketing.
Are you a salamander? Because you axolotl questions.
I don't know how to respond to that. I'm so sorry. I'm a host and producer of over 5 years on this program, and yet it staggers me. I'm drawing a blank. See here I am now talking to myself. That's chaos theory. That's chaos theory, Ellie. That's chaos theory. Let's see here. All right, here's a question. We can bring this up to the field here if we don't mind. Freddie says, wonder if you could share a quick and dirty is an odd way to describe it. Dirty description of your writing process. Do you outline your stories? Are you plotters? Or do you just throw your characters into an environment and see what happens, Cindy?
Well, there are pantsers and plotters, and if you take a plotter and go way to the extreme, that's where I am. My last book, Animal Eye, it was a game lit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I not only had all the character descriptions, but I had designed the role-playing game that they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
So with all the stats and the different character types and a lot of the world building, I had all plotted out and to the point where you could probably put it together and play it. Before I start writing, I have the entire plot line written down, scene by scene. I don't write in chapters; I write in scenes, and chapter it later, including not only what happened in the scene, but sometimes even pieces of dialogue or descriptions or little bits and bobs of detail that I want to include. And sometimes I follow that pretty strictly, and other times not really. No, sometimes it all wanders off, and I'd realize that no, that goes somewhere else. But yeah, the first draft follows that, and then I go back and fill in holes um, and build things out a little further. So yeah, I just like a plotter from the extreme. I had better than 40 pages of notes before I actually started writing Animal Eye.
Gee willikers. Whew. 40 bloody pages? My God. Are you mad? No, I'm just kidding. No, it's fine. It's what we call planning, or whatever it may be. So it helps. What about you, Paul? Same question. How do you go about putting together your stories? What's your process like?
So I am a co-author. Jason Clark is my co-writer, and he couldn't be here today. He had some familial obligations, and things like that. And what we basically do is, so Crimson Hell is kind of my baby. We have a couple of other things in the works right now that's kind of on his end. But what we would do is I would come up with, just kind of the main uh, the big set pieces, and just kind of put that together. And we will chat back and forth. And as we're kind of getting started, if there's like or something comes up here, I will shoot him a message saying, "Hey, pin this," because I'm going to forget if I don't write it down. I pulled over while I'm in the car to actually write him a message saying like, "Hey, I got this idea. I want to put it in here." And what we do is we'll go back to those notes and then we'll put them in. And that's worked out pretty well. But as far as like plotting out, I have a general idea of where I want the story to begin and how I want it to end, and then it's just getting there, getting the twain to meet, so to speak, and that's kind of how we do it. I write in a way that it looks like a movie in my head, and it kind of comes out in that way. So it's going to be, not saying minimally descriptive, but there's going to be a lot more dialogue than there would be in other types of writing, types of genres. And I say that because these are essentially comic book movies in book form. So there's got to be a lot of that dialogue.
Rock on, man. Awesome sauce. What about you, Ellie? What's your writing process like?
Yes. The answer is yes. It's everything and anything in between. So I am, I guess, at the root of it, a plotter. I have what I call anchor point plot points. So you have Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. If I'm feeling cheeky, Act 4 and Act 5. But in between, you've got like things that happen in between, rising action, falling action, etc., etc. So I have an idea of what I want to happen, but how I get to those plot points, it's kind of up in the air. I just let it happen how it wants to happen. As long as I get to those points, it can flow however it needs to flow. That way it doesn't feel so forced, Because if I try and over outline, it always comes out feeling unnatural and it doesn't feel organic, I guess you could say. It doesn't feel convincing as a story. It just comes off rickety and rigid. So I like having a general idea of where I'm going and what I want to happen, and I leave the how up to the flow of the story itself. That way it seems a little bit more natural and it feels smoother in order to get there. It's just, it feels better that way. Not just for writing, but when I'm going back and reading it over for me.
Yeah, Gotcha. Understandably so. Good answers by all. Thank you all for answering that question. And Freddie, thanks for chiming in with that question in the chat. Great questions from everybody and certain comments being made in the chat. Freddie goes on to say, stoic. Wait a minute. Nah, man. I'm a chihuahua with a new toy and a caffeine IV in my system. What you talking about, Willis? I mean, okay, Freddie, if that's how you do it, I mean, hey, man, it's whatever works for you, mate. All right? Let's just, Jeez. New toy and a caffeine IV. Gee whiz.
None of my chihuahuas like their toys, so I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that's
we have to force them to play with them.
I know. I'm a bit flabbergasted myself. I'm kind of like, where do we go with this? Gee willikers. But no, fair points. Fair points. So, in your mind, Paul, what are some of the biggest rewards about being a writer?
The very small royalty checks. No, Ellie's, yours are probably bigger than mine, but
no,
what,
they are not.
What I love about it, what's really rewarding to me is, I came up seeing the story come to fruition and seeing how the characters who I didn't know, like when I came up with them, I didn't know them. I was like, who are you people? Why are you sitting here in my brain? And what do you want from me? And seeing how they develop over time is really great. And seeing how, we had a plan for, certain characters, and then that gets derailed. And what do they look like now? And that's really great. And what I also love about what's really rewarding for me for writing is that I use my writing skills in my my big boy job. And that has gotten me very far. And I'm very pleased that, I have that kind of feather in my cap, But as far as just the creative start, it scratches an itch. It allows me to expand my imagination, play in my own toy box when I'm not playing in Joe Simon's. And that's fun, that's fun for me. It's cathartic. I get to be as magnanimous or as cruel as I want to be. I try to be as benevolent as possible to my characters, but that often the plot often won't allow it. I remember I wrote a post about how I gave two characters in book 2 of Crimson Hell series. I gave them one last happy day before they were the main driver of the plot was going to happen, and I like that I was able to do that. And that was really cool that, I'm in control of the story and what happens. And, in a world that's increasingly going out of control, it is nice to have that control. So for me, that's one of the most, if not the most rewarding thing, is that I'm in complete control of what happens in the world that I'm creating.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because I feel the exact opposite.
Really?
I hate that I have to do that. I hate having to do that. Like, I know that I have that control, but I hate that I have to do it. It feels bad.
Really?
But at the same time, like, I know I have to do it. So, I don't know.
Does it maybe feel overwhelming at times that you have all this creative control and this power? Like in He-Man, I have the power,
Well, that might be it. I don't know. I think it's more just like, I wish I could give them more good times, but like, I know that I have to give them
obstacles.
No more good times. This is like the last thing. And like, from here on, I'm just going to be crying my eyes out, and this is not going to feel good. Like, the last book in my series was not fun.
Oh,
it took me years to get over it, because it was so hard for me to write. Because while I was writing it, I was in a very deep depressive spiral because of what I had to do for my characters, and it was not fun. And I didn't like it, but like, I had to go through it. But I'm kind of glad I did, because it helped me get out of a hole, mentally. Because like, I was pretty suicidal before that, and I'm not suicidal anymore. So I think I had to like help myself get out of it, if that makes any sense. And I haven't gotten.
It does.
I've never gotten any. Haven't had haven't had any of those thoughts anymore, or
Mhm.
any desire for that anymore. It's just not there anymore because I feel like writing it out helped me resolve it.
Hmm.
But it hurt to do it. So I didn't like that I was in control of it, but it felt more of it felt more like of an obligation, like a responsibility that I had to do. But I didn't want to do it,
Mhm.
but I knew that I had to. So
Mm. Kind of like a catch-22, maybe.
yeah, but it was worth it, totally worth it.
A little bit of a
So I'm
degree.
glad I did it.
Well, yeah, because you're a badass, Mama Jamma, and you're here with us today, and that's a beautiful thing, and we're happy that you're
Hell
here.
yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. The words of Stone Cold. Give me a hell yeah. Sorry, like I said, I grew up watching a lot of wrestling when I was a kid, so I got tons of references on the brain right now that could go 80 miles an hour, 88 miles per hour, and see some serious shit. By the way,
Mhm.
see what I did there? See what I did there? Yeah, that movie turned 40 this year. What's up, Back to the Future?
Did it? How do
It
you know
did.
all this?
Because we do movie watch-alongs every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Anti-Quote Channel, which you are watching or listening to right
Every
now.
Friday. Wow.
Every single Friday, I am sitting here in my ridiculously not so good-looking studio that's not as good-looking as you three wonderful people, and we watch these movies that turn a certain age. I just got
You
the
see
lineup.
this, you see
Well,
this
here's
mess?
no. Your office/studio looks way better than mine. But I
I
will
have a
say
wig
this.
right here. This is a
Is
wig.
that what that? I was wondering what that was when I walked in here. I'm like, wait a minute, I can't
It's
tell
a
if that's a
wig.
cushion or something that belongs to a costume.
Can I borrow it?
Yes, I have so many. I have so many. What do you
Can I?
want?
All right.
No, just
Let
grow
me
out.
borrow the other one that's on the left-handed side of the studio. But anyway,
Yeah.
so here's a fun fact to you. I just got the schedule for you fine folks, and for those of you just tuning in, this is the Writer Showcase on Netico channel. We are doing a 10th anniversary in July. This is in the month of July, so this is next month. After we celebrate Independence Day with our loved ones and family members, we're taking that week off. We're going to take some rest. We're going to come back on July 11th, okay? And on July 11th, on that Friday, we're celebrating 10 years of Pixar's Inside Out.
Ooh.
Okay. And then the following week, we're going to be celebrating a movie that was way ahead of its time when it was made originally. And not a whole lot of people have seen it except me and maybe five or six other people. But on the following week, which is July 18th, I want to say, we're celebrating 30 years of Sandra Bullock's The Net.
With the girl from the bus.
That's right. With the girl from the bus. That's right. Yes. Sandy B in her prime. The Net. It's a great movie. It's a cybernetic thriller. It was way ahead of its time about identity theft. It is fan-freaking-tastic. And Sandra Bullock, we love you to pieces. And then the week after that, to round out the month of July, we're going to be celebrating 10 years of Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. So, which seems fitting because the new one is out now. So it just makes sense. So yeah, that's what we're doing for July. So if anyone here is interested in being on the panel or they just want to chime in the chat rooms, which the links are already up and available to you, feel free to chime in when we go live in front of millions of people on those specific dates for Inside Out turning 10, The Net turning 30, which is a criminally underrated thriller. And then the following week, we get to wrap up with an action extravaganza with TC legend Tom Cruise with Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, aka Mission Impossible Part 5. So there you go. You're welcome. Great enthusiasm from our three panelists. Clearly, they don't care about the movies I just mentioned. But if anyone's a fan, tune in. We'll have you over for fun. Anyway, where
I only know about Inside Out.
It's a good one. It's good stuff. By the way, Freddie says, fantastic interview, guys. Hope you sell millions of your books. Great show. I've reposted this to all my friends out there to share. Now I'm off to do a little bit of work on my own writing. Hey, have fun with it, man. Have fun with it. We'll be here the rest of the we'll be here for a while. But with that being said, Cindy, what are the best rewards about being a writer?
Getting the weird ideas out of my head and into somebody else's.
Hey, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That needs to be on a shirt.
Can we make that happen, Ellie?
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, you got Printify and stuff and Redbubble, all these kinds of what are these companies?
T-shirt companies, yeah, or merchandising companies. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I actually just met a guy last night. His brothers and cousins run a merchandising business online. I can send you their link to their website. Maybe you'll find something there. Maybe that'll help. Because they do all kinds of merchandising, shirts, hoodies, pens, what do you call those things? Thermoses or, water bottles, reusable water bottles. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry. But you know what I'm getting at. So,
yeah.
If anyone wants the link, I'll send it later. But getting the weird ideas out of one head and putting them in another. Okay, great. It's not mine. Makes sense. Flip side of the coin, though, if you want to pull a Harvey Dent and go Two-Face, Cindy, what are the biggest challenges about being a writer?
The biggest challenge would be communicating those weird ideas in a way that other people will understand. I process information a little differently than a lot of people, and so sometimes what I think is clear communication doesn't jive for somebody else, and so
Preach.
yeah. So the challenge is trying to translate it from the way that my brain sees it into a format that someone else will make some sense out of.
Yep. That's what editing's for. I love editing.
We need editors. Editors are very, very important to me. They're important to everybody.
This is why I love telling people I'm a writer, not a public speaker, because I can edit what I write. I can't really edit what I say.
Mm-hmm.
Can we put that on a shirt? That makes a lot. That's something that needs to be said. I can edit my stories. I just can't edit what I say.
Well, I guess, if you're recording this, I guess we need to make a list of all the things we need to make into t-shirts.
I know, honestly. Someone out there from our subscribership, because we have almost 1,600 subscribers on this channel. Yeah. Someone's going to go back. I know. We've grown by leaps and bounds in the last 5 years since we started this channel as a team, and then the team went off and did other stuff. They gave me the keys to the castle a little bit after COVID, and they started going back to work and stuff like that. Like, hey, you want to keep doing this? Because we're going to move on to something else. I was like, yeah. I love podcasting. Why would I want to quit? It's too much fun. And then I renamed it And I Quote Channel because that rolls off the tongue very easily, and it's snappy, it's snazzy. Plus, it goes well on a t-shirt. I may not be wearing it now, but it goes well on a t-shirt / merchandising where the real money from the movie is made. Spaceballs, a t-shirt. Anyway, I can't believe we're getting a sequel to that 40 years later. That's insane. Yeah, Mel Brooks dropped an announcement video this week saying they're making a sequel to Spaceballs. I'm like, dude, you waited 40 years, man. I'm dead serious. Mel Brooks dropped a video on social media that literally says we are making Spaceballs 2, and Bill Pullman's going to come back as Lone Star.
And his son.
Oh my God.
Bill Pullman's own son is going to come into this picture, is going to be a part of the film, probably playing Lone Star's kid.
Dude. The cosplay in the theater is going to be so dope. What are we going to wear?
Well, not only that, Rick Moranis himself is coming out of self-imposed retirement to reprise his role as Dark Helmet. So Mel Brooks is going to come back as Yogurt and maybe President Scroob. So I'm just like, yo, dude. And by the way, Mel Brooks is 98 years old. So the fact that he's like in his 90s. The fact that he's doing this and he's bringing a couple of the actors back, which, by the way, one of the names that's missing from that ledger, that name of cast members, you got to bring Daphne Zuniga back as Vespa.
She's coming back too. Yeah.
I didn't see her name on the video. Her name wasn't announced as being in the cast. But if she is going to be in it, then it's like you can't have Lone Star without his wife. You need Vespa. You need Daphne Zuniga. Our bride, because in that TV series, Melrose Place, her best friend looks at her and says, our bride is a 90s Cinderella. She doesn't just wait for a Prince Charming. She chucks deals on her cellular phone. She tosses her evil stepsisters into the pool. So it's like, it's the 90s, Daphne. It's the 90s. You got to come back. So it's like, I mean, granted, I fell in love with Daphne personally when she was on Spaceballs long before she was in Melrose Place, but still. I digress. The only reason I know what Melrose Place is because Jerry Seinfeld lampooned it on an episode of Seinfeld. So that's the only way I know that.
Polygraph.
The polygraph. He had to lie to his girlfriend that he's not a fan of Melrose Place, even though he is. So it's quite funny. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Kat says it's going to be called Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money. You can if it's stunt double Vespa. No, I do not want to see the stunt double Vespa show up in this freaking movie. All right, because who was his name? The general guy. He's like, you capture their stunt doubles. It's like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. It's too weird. It's too weird for me. I'm sorry, but it's just
it'd be a good callback.
I mean, are any other actors still alive? The stunt people? Do we know if does anyone know if the stunt actors from that scene in the original movie are still alive? Does anybody know that?
I'm surprised anybody's still alive.
Ask one of your interns. I don't know if they're alive. To be perfectly honest with you, who knows? She's an icon. Stunt double Vespa is not. Kat, I don't know what
Who is this person
I know, honestly.
sending these things here?
This is so strange. I have no
Fish
idea.
and cat. Who could
wonder.
that be?
I really don't know who that
Heathcliff,
is.
maybe? I don't know.
I honest to God have no idea who this is. So if anyone
Really?
knows who it, no, I don't.
Yeah, I
Is
don't
it
either.
right?
I
Is
don't
it
know.
who?
I don't know.
All right, is it one of your family members here in the studio? I don't know
Who
what's
knows?
going on.
I don't have any family.
Who kno-
No, I
okay,
don't.
well, hey, listen, man. You don't have friends. I got family. Well, you got family right here in the studio. You got me. You got Ellie. You got
There we
Cindy. Even though Cindy and I are meeting the two of you for the first time.
No,
Well,
that's just that's
Yeah.
my wife. That is my
Oh, it
wife.
is your wife. I was like, oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Yes.
Got to be
That's
somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to be doing
Yeah.
something. If it's a person who cannot use a VPN. What is a VPN? Now I get it. All right, never mind.
It literally says that fish chick, and her name is Cat.
Never
like,
mind.
come on.
Never mind. I get it. I completely. All right. Now it took me a minute. It took me a minute to register this. Paul. I'm sorry, but my brain is finally wiring it to the correct.
Yeah, I think I told you my wife is a marine biologist. So
Yeah.
that's,
Oh, which by the way, that's when it comes to top 5 episodes. The Marine Biologist is one of my top 5 favorite episodes.
Oh yeah. She
Ever.
was angry that day, my friends.
Like an old man trying
man
to send
trying
back
to
soup in a
Send
deli.
back soup in a deli.
Oh, and Cindy and Ellie are wondering what the heck is a sitcom known as Seinfeld? I've never seen the show about nothing. What are you talking about?
My husband has, so I've seen a few,
Okay.
stray episodes.
All right, you really need to sit down and watch the Marine Biologist episode. I'm dead serious.
Okay.
It's
All right.
hilarious. It's bona fide hilarity at its peak. So good. I mean, there's other episodes that Paul and I could hypothetically suggest, but the Marine Biologist is a good one to start. I would say. I don't know
Yeah, and
how
you have to watch the strike on December 23rd. That's
that's
the Festivus
Festivus
episode.
It's Festivus.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
a great
Pat and I
holiday.
watch it all every year, and then we
Yep.
go out and I go to the bars, so it's fun.
Exactly. On
Yeah.
December the 23rd, mark this down. It's called Festivus for the rest of us. It's really good. And the episode title is what Paul just said. It's called The
Well,
Strike.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware, Ellie.
It is.
Just
It
so
is
you're aware.
the best episode of Seinfeld, aside
Oh,
from
is
the
it
Chinese.
your number one?
No, it's Chinese restaurant.
Oh,
'Cause you got-
not right.
Yeah, because
Not right.
you got David Lopan as the guy. He's the
Yeah.
Chinese restaurant.
James
leader
Hong,
dude.
I believe is his real name. The actor
Yes.
named James Hong. Yeah, and he's still
Mhm.
acting, and he's in his late 90s. It's
He's
insane.
wonderful. He's wonderful.
Still
I love it
acting.
when he shows up in Avatar: The Last Airbender. 'Cause I'm like, it's
yeah.
David Lopan. Ha
All right,
Good
that's
The
for
right.
you,
animated or the
Is
live
it the
action?
animated or the live action?
the animated.
Oh, the
The
animated
live action
series.
was very well done.
Yeah,
I
it
could
was
wax poetic on that.
surprisingly
I really-
like it was kind of okay.
it was not bad. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Are we talking about the new one or the one from M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong?
No.
What are you
We
talking
don't.
about?
We
There's
do
no-
not
there's
speak
no-
of that.
I'm sorry.
There's no
I'm like, are
We
you
do
talking
not
about the
speak of that.
Was there a reboot that came out that I'm just not aware of? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a
was a
Netflix
show.
series.
Oh, that's right. The
Yeah,
Netflix
the
series.
show,
Never mind,
not
never
the
mind.
movie.
The costuming is phenomenal.
All right,
and,
you're
and
right.
the bending looks really good.
Never mind.
Yeah.
But is it the cartoon? No, it's
Okay.
not. No, but
All right.
but
That's
yeah.
cool that he's still acting though, and he does voice acting. That's cool.
Yeah,
Which I think is awesome, by the way, for someone to be in their 90s and still kicking it with the acting bug. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's a rarity, I would say, in Hollywood. Isn't that right? I don't know. So we went over. Did everyone answer the question about?
I think we were
reviews?
talking about challenges. I didn't.
Oh yeah, flip side of the coin. Biggest challenge about being a writer. Who wants to answer next? Anyone can go. I don't even know who answered it last. I think it was Cindy.
I don't know.
What about you, Ellie? What are the biggest challenges about being a world's best-selling writer?
Remembering what I was doing.
Continuity.
That'd be it. That'd be remembering what I was doing.
Short-term memory loss. Short-term memory loss, maybe.
Oh yeah, ADHD more like.
Oh, sorry. All right.
Let's see. Well, there was mostly these days finding the time, and then the energy,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I finally have those things, the motivation to do it.
Motivation
having the trinity of those things is the legend. It is the myth.
Is it the
That
legend?
is
Of,
the trial.
is it the legend of the hidden temple with the blue barracudas and the red jaguars and the purple parrots and the
All of
orange
it.
iguanas?
It's an entire epic to find the trinity of finding the time, the energy, and the motivation to write.
We got so many ideas for for merchandising on this
That
episode.
is so vindicating, though, Ellie. I'm glad that you said that.
She is right, though. She has a point.
Yeah, I and I always chalked it up to me just being
Yeah, go ahead.
lazy. But I'd be like, I
man.
have the time,
Mhm.
because I'm sitting around.
Right.
I
Yeah.
have the energy, but I don't have the motivation because it's not there. And
Oh.
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
you should be writing, but I don't want to because it's going to be bad if I do. If I sit down and try and force it,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm not going to tell the story that I want, and it's going to do a disservice to the characters, and it's going to be an
Right.
insult to my audience.
But then the odd thing is when you have the motivation,
Mhm.
when you have the motivation, suddenly it seems to be the last key. If you have the motivation, the time and the energy kind of unlocks itself. So if you have the motivation, the rest follows, and you just make the time and you make the energy. So if you don't have the motivation to do it, you're not going to have either of the two. So I think the key is we need to figure out how to get the motivation. That's my theory.
I agree with that.
Play motivational music in the background.
It doesn't always work. Sometimes it works, but not always, because we have like adult responsibilities that we have to take care of.
That is the thing I do not like. And as a person, as a writer, the thing I don't like is adulting, because adulting is overrated. It sucks. Okay. Some of us work jobs where, in my case, my job is overnights. And I get home early in the morning when the world's getting up and get ready to attack the day for them, respectively. And I go to sleep at 9 a.m. and I sleep until 7 o'clock at night just so I can go to my 9 to 5 in the middle of the night. Do you think I like doing that? Heck no. Because I'd rather be sitting at home doing this, pounding away, punch the keys, for God's sake, like punching away at those keys and writing, because writing is fun for me. Writing is enjoyable because once I have an idea in my mind, I'm like, okay, I want this to be set in the 80s. I have a character that's getting over a breakup. He just graduated. He doesn't know what to do, and he wants to find a purpose in his life. Well, what can he do that's going to find him meaning? Oh, here's one. Find buried treasure, and then he won't have to work a day in his life ever again. And that's one of the stories that I'm in the process of writing, is about this kid who goes to college, doesn't like it after one semester, drops out. His family forces him to work the hardware store that they own as a family business. He doesn't want to do anything with it. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to sneak off during 4th of July break or 4th of July weekend when my parents are out doing whatever, my friends and I are doing whatever, and I'm going to fly overseas to Cairo, Egypt, and look for the Ark of the Covenant. No, not the Ark of the Covenant. That's a cop-out. But he's looking for a treasure that I will not reveal because I want the reader to experience it for themselves. And he runs into all these obstacles when he's flying over to Cairo because he's not Indiana Jones. He's not prepared. He's just going at it because he has a motivation to get out from the grind. But is he going to find the treasure? And if he does find it, is he going to be able to get away with it? Can he sneak past, certain security measures or something in the airport? I don't know.
Stumbling his way through it.
Stumbling his way through it like this, like a penguin. I don't know. But it's fun to write that because I like adventure fiction. So that's one of my favorite genres of writing.
Well, I have a book for you.
Really? Can you send me? Send it over to me overnight shipping. We'll do it. I'll pay. I will Venmo / PayPal you after the show, guaranteed. Because I believe indie supports indie in this business. I support indies as much as I possibly humanly can, because these two books behind me, these two gentlemen, Jeffrey Pintabana, who wrote The Longwood Trail, and T.G. Brown, who just came out with Cut Them Down when I got the Johnny Cash song stuck in my head. Sooner or later, God's gonna cut you down. These just came out, and they're going to be on my show in the next 2 weeks. And this is my way of plugging them, because I enjoy supporting you three fine-looking people. I enjoy supporting others, because if we build each other up and not tear each other down, I feel society would be a lot better for it. Hashtag, that's my PSA for the night. Yeah, I'm just saying. I know exactly. The more you know. God. But yeah, no, the motivation, the time, the et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I hate adulting. I absolutely dread it. I hate it. So every time I'm motivated to write, I get home, I'm tired, I'm burned out from work, and I just want to go to sleep, Ellie.
Yeah, tired.
I just want to go to bloody sleep.
Yes.
But at the same time, I want to write because I love writing. So it's kind of like it's a struggle, right? It's a catch-22. Would you say so, or maybe I'm wrong here?
No, I think you're right. It's finding that trifecta. It's so difficult. But I think the motivation is the hardest thing to find.
That's fair. I can give you that. To bring everyone back to a lovely thing called reality, because reality is great. No, it's not. This is this is the best episode so far of the Writers Showcase here on Anti-Code Channel. Do not forget to like and share with your closest friends. If you're watching us live on the replay, hello there. And if you have any questions for this incredibly smart, intelligent, driven group of people, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. We're more than happy to hear from you, respectively. Did everyone answer the whole challenges question, or am I missing somebody?
I briefly touched on it.
Oh, is there anything you wish to add before we move on to question number 5042?
Just kidding. How dare you put me on the spot like that?
I'm just asking. I don't want to leave you hanging, bro.
No, I mean, for me, it is like what Ellie was saying about the motivation and the time. I mean, I have plenty of time, but you know, and then it's just, but again, it goes like what I was saying earlier about, you know, am I forcing it? And I don't want to force it, because if I'm going to sit there and do it and only get a paragraph, I'm going to throw that paragraph away, because I'm like, well, I wasn't really, this isn't going to fit with anything else that I'm really writing. I think also it's, you talk about adulting and all that, and it's finding the balance between your responsibilities and that creative outlet as well, you know, because we sometimes often have to put our responsibilities ahead of all that, you know, to make sure that the lights are on and that there's food in the refrigerator and that the rent or the mortgage is paid, you know. I could never make it as a starving artist myself. I just can't be creative if I'm worried about those things. But I mean, the biggest challenge also is just making sure that the books make sense. You know, I've got a trilogy out, so I have to make sure that the things I'm writing in book 2 don't contradict what's in book 1 and, you know, book 3 and book 2. You know, so it's just making sure that we have that and it's consistent. And thank God for editors and people who will read our stuff and tell us, wait, this doesn't make any sense. So, and I think one of the other big challenge for me is I have very thin skin. You know, I want everybody to love what I write. And I know that, you know, in this industry, art is very subjective. And I don't like it if somebody says your book is not good. I gotta, the reviews have been very positive, and I'm grateful for that, but I haven't gotten one yet. And I don't know if I could bear it. If they were like, I really didn't like this, and here's why. I don't know. I would be very upset. And I probably want to like fight them. I don't know. I'm a big baby, like when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing with reviews. You know, should we read them? Should we not read them? Should we, you know, I mean, reviews help, like they're important, but at the same time, like, do I really want to read a review? Because otherwise, whether it's positive or negative, it's just going to shake up my process and
exactly
throw you off. It's going to kind of throw you off the yellow brick road to Oz, because you need to stay on the yellow brick road and just focus on the story that you're writing now. And then when you're done with that, move on to the next one. And then when you're done with that, move on to the next. Just keep going, because you pointed this out earlier. The word consistency, I use this with everybody. Consistency is the key in any business. As long as you're consistent with whatever it is that you're passionate about and you're doing it, you know, and however you go about it is up to you. I'm not saying there's one right way or one wrong way to do it for all three of you who are here today. I'm just saying that in general, if you're consistent and you love what you, first of all, if you find something you love to do, it's not called work, even though writing is work. But at the same time, like, if you enjoy it and you don't pay attention, because the world, and this is something that we've heard before, you need a thick skin, and the world is filled with noise. There's all this noise. You just got to learn how to tune it out and kind of ignore it to a certain extent, and just focus on what you're doing and focus on your stories and just enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy the ride, man. Just enjoy it, because sooner or later, one way or another, one of these days, for those of you who are into this sort of thing, we're all going to be leaving this mortal coil. You know, we're not going to be here very long. So you got to make every moment of every day count. As we learned in 2001, a very kind gentleman sat down with me and a bunch of other people, and his name was, what was his name? It was, Gandalf. He says, all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. That's all it is. Is that it? It's that simple. This is why hashtag Lord of the Rings is a solid trilogy. So Watch this movie. Gandalf was right. Just use the time you got and use it to your advantage, but use it to the best of your ability. Oh, granted, not every day is going to be the same, and every day is going to be different, and you're going to run into struggles. You're going to run into, not heartaches, but just headaches and mind blowers and curveballs. But if you love what you do and you like what you're doing, just keep pushing, my friends, because that's all we can do in this life is just do our. In the words of our good friend Rocky, it's not about how hard you can hit; it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Sorry, I'm just full of motivational TED Talks today. I don't know why. But there you go. Hopefully that makes sense to the three of you in the studio. Maybe I'm just rambling like an incoherent baboon, but
No more than Tony Robbins.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I don't know if that's a compliment or a negative. I'm sorry. But yeah, so just focus on it. Have fun with it. That being said, we talked about rewards, talked about challenges, but here's a really good $2,500, if not $250,000 question, Cindy. What advice would you give to aspiring writers out there?
Although the rules exist for a reason, don't be afraid to go outside of them.
Very good. That's very powerful. More things to add to T-shirts. I'm telling you, we got so many merchandising ideas. I think we're gonna put Mel Brooks and Spaceballs 2 and 3 to shame. But good advice. Good advice. What advice would you give to aspiring writers out there, Ellie?
You can't edit a blank page. So write the worst crap you can, because you can always delete it later. As long as you got something out there, you've written something you can always edit.
Wow, more powerful, straight to the point statements. I love it. What about you, Paul? Advice you give to aspiring writers out there? Maybe something you picked up from Simon or Kirby, or maybe even Stan Lee. I don't know.
Just make sure. Well, okay, couple things. Make sure you have a way to keep the lights on and the food in the fridge and the rent paid. Don't hitch your wagon to the one star. I have a day job, and I didn't do any of the things that I did until I paid off all of my student loans, and I couldn't have that hanging over my head and actually create something worthwhile if I'm worried about those things. If I'm worried about how am I going to pay my bills, so have a backup, for goodness sake. But at the same time, read anything you can get your hands on. It's going to make you a better writer. I mean, that's something that and that's not even me. That's any author will tell you that. And what's really funny is the stuff that you like to read is the stuff that you will probably want to write. And I think that's really important, and that makes it a more enjoyable process. Not saying that you're going to emulate or copy the writers that you read, but it'll definitely help. You kind of learn, how a narrative works, and what you want your narrative to sound like. I would also say this: I got some great advice from Billy West, who is my favorite voice actor. He told me one day, I was at Dragon Con, and he told me, he says, "Look, I did some impressions for him. I also do voice acting on the side, and it was a Zoidberg impression. He does the voice of Zoidberg." And, he said, "Oh man, that's really, really good." And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to maybe one day do what you do." And he says, "Listen, I'm going to give you some advice. And this goes for anything that you're doing. He says, if you're good at something, and it sounds to me like you are, so that's better in my cap." And he said, "You owe it to yourself to do it, in whatever way, professionally, as a hobby, you owe it to yourself. Adults," and we just talked about this, adults are full of shit, and they're going to say no to you. That's their job. What your job is as a creative person is to find the people that are going to say yes to you. It took me 10 years to get Return to the Crimson Howl, edited and published, because the people at Airship 27, Ron and Rob, they said yes. They said, "Yeah, we want to do this." and it was, again, just finding those people, and however you're going to do that, just to make sure that you're being true to what you want out of this, either as a hobby or as a job. Like I said, right now I'm probably the most amateur person here, but we're working on that, and I hope to one day build an audience and tell other people the same thing that Billy West told me. And I think that that's what I would tell anybody.
Good points, man. Good points. In other words,
this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
No, it's that way.
well, it's that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, you and your silly comebacks. Good God. I don't know why we keep having you on this show. Anyway, I'm joshing you, but no, makes perfect sense. Great
thought you
advice.
were Ryan.
No. I'm just messing. But we're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you? No, this is no great answers, great advice. I'm not gonna say that it isn't, because it is. It's very good. And by the way, Billy West, dude, I grew up watching Doug. Okay,
Right?
So,
Yeah,
dude,
he was.
he's the voice of Roger. He's the voice of Doug. I mean, didn't even do. Was he also the voice of Skeeter too? His best friend.
He might have been. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. Who knows?
Yeah, he did. But
Right.
yeah, he did so many incredible voiceover works,
Yeah.
whether it's Futurama or outside of that. Otherwise, apparently Cindy has disappeared. Hopefully you'll come back, Cindy. We missed you. She just disappeared all of a sudden. But great advice, no question about it. Once again, just to give everyone a healthy reminder, this is the Writer's Showcase on Andy Co channel. Do not forget to like and share this with your closest friends. If you're watching us live on the replay/Memorex, there's a throwback from the past. Hello there. And if you have any questions for our panelists, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. More than happy to take those as they come in respectively. And thank you to those of you who have chimed in and have asked questions. I really appreciate it. We cannot do this without you. And dear heavens, Master Jedi Cindy, what happened to you?
My roomies got home and started streaming video. It's work.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
I had a slight weapons malfunction, but we're all fine here. We're fine. We're all fine.
Exactly. We're shining a squad in. No, I'm just kidding. Negative. We have a reactor here. Just give us a few minutes to lock it down, Cindy. Largely very dangerous. Who is this? What's your operating number? It was a boring conversation anyway. Ellie, we're gonna have company. Anyway, sorry. I'm twisting the lines a little bit. I'm sorry. Has anyone else seen that movie hundreds of times as a kid or even now? I've seen that movie so many times it's beyond ridiculous that I can quote it word for word. Ellie, it's ridiculous. It really is. I'll be perfectly honest with you. They don't call me Ryan the Quote for no reason, because I'm just quoting random movies at random times every single day. So it happens to the best of us. With that being said, Cindy, since you are back from a very brief commercial break and paying those bills, favorite characters that you've written thus far? Any thoughts?
Sorry, I lost that. Try again.
God doggone it. All right, so let's strike that, reverse it, as Willy Wonka would say to us back in the 70s. Favorite characters you've written so far, Cindy?
The favorite character I've written so far is a griffin named Tearsel. Because Tearsel shows up in a book called The Lines of Succession and will come back in Suitable Arrangement, which will be the sequel to it. Tearsel.
Oh, no.
No.
You got to love technical difficulties in this studio, fans. You froze for a minute there, Cindy. So when you come back, feel free to start that last part of that sentence over again if you can or if you wish. It's up to you. Still with us? Man, I'll tell you what. We'll come back. We'll come back to you. We will come back to Cindy. We're not going to leave her hanging, even though her screen is frozen. She may be having technical difficulties because her roomies are messing with the system. Ellie, favorite characters you've written thus far in your incredible writing career?
My favorite would be a ferret called Kern. He is. He believes that he is the exiled emperor from a planet called Ha'aha. He likes to get into mischief and steal everybody's sandwiches. He rides ravens around and he drops little alchemic bombs on people.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's very good description. But understandably so. What about you, Paul? Favorite character or characters you've written thus far?
Yeah, they haven't been introduced yet. They are going to be the two kind of main characters in the Crimson Howl sequels. They are, I guess you could call them kind of adopted siblings. The first one, her name is Freebird. She is she's a very interesting person in my world, universe, whatever you want to call it. She has a power that's extremely rare, and she is being sought out by the bad guys for this power. And the guy that she kind of adopts her, and that she adopts him, is kind of her older brother. His name is Pete. He also has a very very unique power that again the bad guys find out about, and then they have to look up the main character from the first book and how they're going to escape. I really like writing the two of them, especially Cooper. She's a lot of fun because she's sort of like a baby in the woods book two, and and he's kind of this stoic kind of guy who can move things with his mind. And there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun to write. I can't wait for everybody. It's kind of the first time I'm talking about them in any kind of meaningful way, outside of my conversations with Jason, my co-author. But so yeah, you heard it here first. You know, we've got two really exciting, fascinating characters who. And it's kind of funny because when I first originally thought of them, I thought maybe they would kind of get together romantically, and I thought, no, that's boring. That's what everybody expects. No, they're going to be found family. We're going to go that angle. And how's that going to work? And how do their powers kind of relate to the world that we've established? So they've been a lot of fun, and I was very very sad when I finished book 3 to have to leave them kind of behind. Whatever happens to them, in whatever way, because I don't want to give anything away, whether they survive or not.
Oh, nice, man. That's good stuff. Wish you all the best with all that for sure. Good stuff. Positive jazz. Cindy, now that you're back again of the reboot, you were talking about the Griffin who's going to appear in another book or a sequel, whatever it may be. Anything else you care to elaborate on that character of? Is it Tigris? Thyrsil. Good lord. Thyrsil. Tell us about this character and what can we look forward to in the next couple of books here? Oh no, she froze.
No.
Did you freeze again? Jeez. And she wrote in the chat. In the private, it says, "I hate computers. I hate computers. I hate computers." Cindy, are you back now? Are you with us?
I think so, for at least 10 seconds, maybe.
All right. Well, real quick, rapid fire. What can we expect from that Griffin?
Okay, so Tyrsil the Griffin occurs in line of succession and will recur in suitable arrangement. And he's sort of a cross in personality between a wacky parrot and a well-trained Rottweiler. So he protects his human and is cracking wise all the time, being just generally all-purpose goofy.
All right. Well, you had my curiosity in the words of Leo DiCaprio, but now you have my attention. So there you go. Everybody wins. One of these days, you and I got a table at Dragon Con with these two fine people known as Paul and Ellie. We'll have a big book release party. It'll be a lot of fun. Plus, I hear Dragon Con is a pretty big show, if not one of the biggest, if not the biggest show in the world. It occupies like 60 hotels, 500 different rooms. People are on 60 different floors, having parties that go until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. It's the biggest in the Southeast.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And it's funny because I read in recent years they've brought, celebrity-wise anyway, some of the cast members of one of my favorite shows, The 100 from the CW, and I'd like to meet those cast members if they ever come back. So
they're the cast there, from what I remember.
Yeah, get the cast of The 100 to come back, because I'd like to meet them and the cast of Lost. I mean, you get me Henry Ian Cusick, I will be all over that, because Desmond is my favorite character on Lost, son. So, see you in another life, brother. See what I did there? Desmond, we love you. But yeah, no, we Dragon Con's on my list of conventions that I'm sure I definitely want to visit. I don't know, Cindy, have you ever wanted to visit Dragon Con or not really your style?
You know, I really haven't been to any of the really major cons. So it might be interesting to drop in and visit one of them. I guess the biggest one I've been to was AggieCon.
Hmm.
But yeah, I understand Dragon Con is infinitely larger.
And I hope you like alcohol because there's a lot of that there.
Oh, really?
They call it drunk con for a
wow.
reason. It's
Oh, dear.
there's a lot. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
And I hope you come to see the Atlanta Radio Theater Company when we perform
Yes.
there, because we'll be doing, of course, the works of Simon and Kirby.
Hey.
For the comic book
Cool.
track. We're going to be doing that again this year.
Congratulations. That's
I hope
awesome.
that will be something that y'all can come and see one year.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. I'm down.
Fantastic.
You
I'm
should.
down.
Come on, man. What? You can stay at my house. I don't care. You stay in the office. There's a bed right there.
Oh, that's okay. All right. Well, if I'm going to get some lodging accommodations here, hey, let's go, fans. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, fly on down. I'll even pick you up at the airport.
Okay, that's fine. That's great.
Delta Hunt.
I haven't been on a plane in a little while, but I'm happy to fly down because it's a lot faster to take than a car. When it comes down to flying from Baltimore, BWI, down to Atlanta Airport, whatever it's called in Atlanta, yeah, that's. Plus, I hear is it true that the airport in Atlanta is very big too?
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's the busiest in the
like
world.
massive. It's like bigger than a
It
convention
is
center. Is it that
gigantic.
big?
I got
Yeah.
stuck there. I got stuck there last year.
Are you serious?
It's like its own city.
It's its own city. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got,
Wow.
6 or
busiest
7
in the whole
concourses.
world, man.
It's
I mean-
gigantormous.
You said you got stuck there at one point, Cindy. What was happening? Was it a layover? Was it a delayed flight? What happened?
This time last year, I was at a martial arts tournament,
Oh wow.
and on the return trip, we all had trouble getting to or from. Most of my team had trouble getting there. I was the first one there and the last one back.
Wow.
My flight out of Orlando got delayed, so they stuck me on another one, and then that one got delayed, so they stuck me on another one, and that one got delayed, and so I got the last one out of Orlando.
Gee whiz.
Which
Yep.
by that
Yep.
point, the flight out of Atlanta, which was our connection, was just gone. And so I got there about 2 hours after I should have arrived in Des Moines. And so I got to hang out for the next day so that they could find another flight that can get me the rest of the way. And that airport is huge. It was at least 6, maybe 7 concourses.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Wow.
And for all of that, the biggest crisis that I had during that time, I have very severe food allergies. I cannot just walk up to somewhere, grab food, and eat it. And I wasn't expecting this, of course, and because of the flight was overbooked because they were trying to cram everybody on there to get to Atlanta to the connections.
Oh boy.
They had to check a lot of your carry-on baggage. Most of the food I brought was in my carry-on. I had so the food that I had between the time I landed in Atlanta and the time I got to Des Moines was 1 rice cake, half a bag of pumpkin seeds, and a Laura bar.
Wow.
And that was it. I went from the reason why I know that there are 6 or 7 concourses because I took the grand tour of the entire joint trying to find something that looked like food.
Yeah.
And the best I came up with was extremely overpriced orange juice. Like,
Yeah,
woo!
Hartsfield.
Oh, okay. Jeez, man. Yeah, that's travel woes. That is a hard one to take on, Cindy. But I'm glad that you eventually got to where you needed to be, and you got home safe and sound, and you're with us here for this incredible award-winning episode of the Writer Showcase, where your computer just seems to want to freeze up every couple of minutes or seconds. But hey, technology can be fickle sometimes. We've all experienced it, right, folks? It's all right, well, I have to prepare myself if I ever fly down to Hotlanta. I'm in an airport that's 700 football fields.
Really, yeah.
When I get my skinny little keister down there to hang out with you fine folk at Dragon Con, and see all the dragons. Oh wait, there's no dragons. It's just full of alcohol and people having fun. So it'll be a heck of a time once Cindy and I get down there, for for sure. Who knows? Maybe you'll see me one of these years. I don't know if this is going to happen or not. This is wishful thinking. Maybe I'll be tabling down there selling my short story anthologies.
Woo!
Right? I mean,
Could
that could happen, right, Paul? I don't
Yeah.
know. Who knows?
You can afford
Possibilities.
the table fee.
Yeah, I gotta be yeah. You gotta love table fees. But yeah, who knows? Possibilities are endless when you have a dream and you go after it. Because in the words of in Iowa, Field of Dreams, when you dream the impossible, Cindy, the incredible comes true. So on that great note, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you, and thank you to our esteemed group of panelists for joining us on this episode of the Writer Showcase. This has been a educational, to say the least. And we got plenty of merchandising ideas that we're going to be submitting to our friends at the either t-shirt company that I was introduced to the night before on Freewheeling Fridays, or we'll do it through Redbubble, whatever it is. Ellie kept a list, so we'll go over it later. And
I didn't keep a list.
no, I'm just kidding. I'm joshing you.
Thank
somebody-
God. I was like, I'm not keeping a list.
I'm kidding you.
I have a cat.
Darn you, Cypher. Anyway, is that Cypher or is that a different cat? I can't tell.
That's Cypher.
Oh, hi, Cypher. Good to see you. Hi, fur babies. Good to see you. With that being said, thank you all for being here. This has been great. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves, and hope you will consider coming back with to hang out with us at a future date, future time, future event. And who knows, if you like movie watch-alongs that we do every Friday at 7 o'clock Eastern, maybe you'll be in the hot seat and you can commentate as we watch the movie on our own separate devices. That'll be fun, right? I think they'll give people a run for their money. So, Paul Landry, good sir, if someone wants to know more about you and maybe buy a copy of your book or books, where can they follow you?
Yeah, so I am primarily on Facebook right now. I'm organizing a TikTok channel or station or whatever that is. So you can find me, Paul Landry, on Facebook. It's public, and I will friend you if you make the request. You can find a copy of Return of the Crimson Howl on Amazon. It's by Airship 27. They are our publisher. Feel free to drop us a review. Hopefully you love it and can't wait for books 2 and 3. Those will be coming out in the near future, I hope. Like I said, we're still in the editing process, but please, by all means, give it a read, give it a review, and come find me, and we will talk because I've got nothing better to do.
Good stuff. Real quick, it's funny you brought up Airship, an Airship 27 production. I got Lance Star, Old Snap,
Bobby Nash.
Bobby Boy here. What's up, Bobby? I just want to let you know I got your copy of the book you sent over to me, and it looks ridiculously good looking. And it's by Airship 27 production here, so which I think is really cool. That's a cool name, by the way. So I look forward to reading this. I haven't read it yet, but I like adventure stuff. I like pulp adventure type stories, if you know what I mean. So I'm looking forward to reading. Cold Snap won a couple of awards, if I'm not mistaken. So Bobby, looking forward to diving into this one, buddy. I just want to give you a quick shout out on Airship 27. What's up? With that being said, Paul, thank you so much for being here. You're a gentleman.
You're very welcome.
We'll be talking to you again here momentarily, so stay tuned and feel free to grab another drink. It's on me. Ellie, you awesome, tacular person, you. If someone wants to know more about you in those wonderful world of cats and whatever other stories you got going on there, where can they follow you and buy copies of your incredible looking books?
You can go to ellierain.com or necroseam.com. That is necroseam.com.
Excellent. Love the cat. Yeah,
See.
Cypher's cool. Cypher, good to see you. Hope to see Cypher and some of the other cats on a future episode of exactly of either this show or another show. We're gonna by the way, Ellie, Paul, Cindy, we're all gonna have you back. It's all gonna happen. We're gonna make sequels. These days, Cindy, you gotta make a sequel. With that being said, Cindy Kep, sorry, I was thinking of another character from another property. But Cindy Kep, if someone wants to know more about you and the incredible stuff you're doing, where can they follow you on social media?
On social media, you can find me on Facebook. I also have an account on Instagram, but I'm almost never there, so Facebook is probably safer to find me. I also have a website, ckoepp.com, where you can catch up with various books and anthologies, my comic book miniseries that I'm doing with Raoul Cruz, and dragons. I have lots of dragons and other types of critters.
Other types of critters. Thank you very much. Great seeing you. Congratulations on everything, and we wish you nothing but success moving forward. So,
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to have all three of you wonderful people back very soon. So stay tuned. I'm going to be talking to you here again momentarily. My name is Ryan of Van Dyke Quote Channel. If you care to know what this ugly mug is and what I do, follow me on. I know. Self-deprecating humor. Sometimes it works. Check us out at And I Quote Channel. Where am I pointing to? Is that it? It's there, right there. Right there in that name tag. There it is. And I Quote Channel. That's where you can follow me on all forms of social media. All the incredible videos we have on our YouTube channel are there for your convenience. They're free. They're on every different kinds of playlists, whether you're a movie fan, a book fan, DC fan, Marvel fan, Star Wars fan, anime, manga, video games, all that kind of stuff. It's all there. It's all there. And we're on the road to 5,000. Once we do, we'll have a live stream that will include special giveaway items that the incredible viewers, subscribers such as yourself are going to be eligible to win. We got merchandising. Link is in our social media bios. We got shirts, hoodies, stickers you can add to your water bottles, coffee mugs, stationery, a couple throw pillows, a TV news reporter. What do you think? Raphael, what are you doing? Sorry, that's a TMNT 1990 quote. Anybody remember that movie from 35 years ago? I don't know. I think I'm the only one. Ellie does. Ellie's raising her hand in the background. That's great. Okay, Ellie and I can remain friends. But with that being said, thank you for being here. Do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when the videos go up or they go live. And remember, life is better when supporting indie creators from all over the world, because all we got to do, ladies and gentlemen, is take a look. It's in a book, but you don't have to take my word for it.
Choose high-flying action. Choose death-defying escapes. Choose spine-tingling thrills. Choose nail-biting intrigue. Now's your chance to choose the adventure. The Captain Hawkland Adventures. Available on Amazon.com.
I've been a superhero for a long time. It used to be so simple. You catch the bad guys, do the right thing, save the world. Then I met Aiden, and things got complicated.
Iris recruited me as a kid and turned me into their own personal weapon. I couldn't see any way out until I met Marty. But now we're going to burn their entire organization down if we can.
Forces of Nature, books 1 and 2, Scorcher and Thin Ice are available now wherever books are sold online. See www.kellygentner.com.
A mission for the police. A mysterious passenger. Mitch Mayhew is carrying more than the mail this flight. Unwanted Passengers, a roaring, prop-spinning, pulse-pounding historical thriller for fans of aerial stunts, flapper-era intrigue, and reluctant heroes with debts to pay and demons to outrun. Order your copy of Unwanted Passenger today.
All right, I'm a little tired, I'm a little wired, and I think I deserve a little appreciation.